The PS2 was full of quirky platformers, desperately trying to dethrone the big boys of the console, Ratchet, Jak, and Sly. Some were pretty sucky and faded into obscurity as they deserved. Others though were quite amazing, but still ended up forgotten because life is cruel and unfair. Today we'll discuss one such underrated masterpiece, featuring everyone's favorite N-word. That word being ninja, of course, you fucking racists. This is iNinja, a platformer developed by Argonaut Games and released for PlayStation 2 in 2003, becoming multi-platform only a few months later. Argonaut Games are of course known for such gems like Star Fox, Croc, and fucking Catwoman, so you know this is gonna be a good game, and you can tell right from the title screen, with our hero chopping his foes left and right like he's Kratos or something. No red blood though, they were already pushing their luck with a teen rating. Wouldn't want to invoke the ESRB's divine wrath, would we? But enough yapping, let's see what iNinja is all about.
Alexander the Great, 5 foot tall. Attila the Hun, not much taller. Napoleon, 5'1". And now the latest warrior to prove you don't have to be tall to reach a butt and kick it. iNinja. Swords will slash, stars will fly. This warrior has so much rage, not even gravity can contain him. So carry on, iNinja, and remember, no one's taller than the last man standing.
iNinja rated D for teen.
The game wastes no time throwing us into the action, with a ninja slashing a bunch of T-posing ranks, that's the name of the bad guys by the way, and saving his sensei from the horrible fate of being fed a truckload of lima beans. Wait, I keep calling him Ninja, what's his actual name? Oh, it's Ninja, nice. Really let the creative juices flow with that one, good job guys. Anyway, Ninja defeats a weird lizard thing and absorbs a red power-up, despite his sensei's warnings. He loses control, goes demon mode, and chops his master's head off, because this is a very kid-friendly game. Luckily, Sensei knows the ways of the Force and appears as a ghost to inform us of our true mission. That red power-up was a Rage Stone, an ancient artifact of great power. We need to retrieve them all so we can defeat Odor, the main bad guy of the game. Ninja will have to train hard and use all of his abilities to overcome this challenge. His reaction to this?
He's dead and still. All he can think about is my training.
Wow, what a fucking ninja. He's seriously such an asshole, being abrasive and dismissive of his master, while the only thing he cares about is killing enemies and getting the next upgrade to become stronger. For a white belt bozo, he sure is a cocky jackass, but still he redeems himself at the end of the game, making him a great player avatar. This is an action platformer after all, in case it wasn't obvious already. So the game begins properly, and man, it looks charming as hell. The graphics are colorful with a unique aesthetic that makes everything look stylized and whimsical, enhancing the game's cartoony vibe. The environments are diverse and have a special feeling to them, featuring places such as a beach with a giant robot impaled on some rocks, a dense jungle, and various experimental facilities. While as concepts they're nothing we haven't seen before, the combination of natural formations, industrial backgrounds, and giant machinery made everything look different than your typical platformer, even though the level design isn't very organic. It felt like the bad guys were harming the game's world, transforming it into the Unabomber's worst nightmare, and we can't have that. But what I enjoyed the most was the animations. Every movement, from the ninja's acrobatic flips to the ranks' attacks, is fluid and beautifully animated, making everything that much more impactful and smoother. The best example of this is the cutscenes, which are wonderfully directed, delivering cinematic sequences that manage to seamlessly blend with the in-game action. It shouldn't surprise anyone though, since they were directed by the motherfucker himself, Don Bluth. For such an obscure title, it sure has great attention to detail, and the audio design is no different in that regard. The soundtrack is a mix of techno and rock compositions, and provides an upbeat and funky background to the action. It also gave some major Sunday morning cartoon vibes as well, which just filled me with nostalgia about a time when I didn't have to pay taxes and pretend that I cared about my coworkers. The sound effects and the voice acting are serviceable as well. Sounds like the clanging of swords, explosions, along with the environmental ambience contribute to an immersive experience and an overall fun time. I love how expressive the characters are too. The ranks sound like monkeys though, which is weird. I'm not trying to make an edgy joke here, that's literally how they sound. Ninja is on a whole different level though, with a variety of yells, voice lines, and funny quips he spouts whenever he kills an enemy or talks to Sensei.
Stay here and try not to die again.
After a while though, his voice lines become repetitive, and the acting ends up being annoying to the point I wish I could make him shut up somehow. I was surprised to learn that Bill West of Ren and Stimpy fame voiced Ninja, which I guess adds more to the game's high production value. I was also surprised to learn there was a petition against him by Terminally Online Twitter users for being a Terminally Online Twitter user himself. What a great social media website providing immense value to humanity. Back to Ninja though, this is a wonderful game with vibrant graphics, a cool soundtrack and an overall whimsical vibe that makes the experience unique and quite fun, despite the fact you're controlling a pissed off ninja that just can't keep his mouth shut. Ninja's premise is very familiar if you're a fan of the genre, but it has a few tricks up its sleeve besides its core mechanics. The two main elements of the game are platforming and combat. Movement-wise, we are very agile and acrobatic, with the ability to double jump, run on walls, swing, and glide using our katana. Get out of here, Inquisitors, with your shitty helicopter lightsabers. Ninja did it first. Or Yoshimitsu, but whatever, I'm ruining my joke here. Combat-wise, things are a little simpler with a basic sword combo, an uppercut, and a ground pound attack, while we can also use shurikens and darts for long-range attacks. But there's also the Rage Stones, granting the ninja special abilities, such as a giant shuriken that annihilates enemies, and even invincibility, hence the I in Ninja. Jesus, is there anything this guy can't do? All these abilities heal you too, which is the only way you can regain health during a mission, so as long as you kill enough enemies and fill your rage meter, you're an unstoppable killing machine. And that's not even all. You see, this is a platformer, and of course we gotta have a billion different game mechanics and minigames to spice things up, because just jumping around like the Bing Bing Wahoo man isn't enough for some reason. And oh boy, there are way too many minigames, I don't think I can remember them all. A punch-out game, turret sections, stealth missions, Super Monkey Ball segments, mini-bosses where you fight each other in the air, there's always something new waiting for you. It's overwhelming, and maybe even a bit unnecessary. Don't get me wrong, each gameplay element is a seamless part of the action and doesn't feel shoehorned in, but the platforming and the combat are very solid overall, so I don't understand why the developers had so little faith on them and felt the need to burn themselves out coding a billion different mechanics to distract you with, like a toddler watching baby sensory videos. The controls are smooth and intuitive, and it's so much fun senselessly cutting down all the enemies and seeing them get sliced in half while the screen is filled with their green blood. Thank God it's green too. I was gonna turn into a violent psychopath if I saw even a drop of red blood after chopping an enemy's head off. Anyway, the game has a variety of hubs, each with its own missions. After completing a mission, we gain a grade, and after we gain enough grades, our rank increases along with our health. With our new belt upgrade, we can also challenge the area's boss and proceed to the next hub after defeating it, while new challenges get unlocked the more belt upgrades we gain. When the missions are purely platform based, they're great. Moving around and fighting enemies feels fast, responsive, and honestly very refreshing, like a combination of other games like Prince of Persia or Devil May Cry. When they throw in additional gameplay elements though, things become a bit less fun. Rolling stuff around feels floaty, the stealth is restrictive, and all I wanted to do was jump and slash things. Everything else felt more like filler. I think the game's greatest flaw, besides the clunky combat, is the way it spaces out all the different mechanics. The first two hub worlds are decent enough, every level is appropriately paced, and you get a good feel of what Ninja has to offer. In the latter half though, I felt like the experience was running out of steam, with the same mechanics being repeated over and over, and the levels feeling stretched out and needlessly long. The worst part is that you'll have to complete optional challenges so you can get enough grades to increase your rank and progress through the game, which is just pointless padding. I just don't like replaying levels for no good reason. Sue me! But these minor setbacks didn't ruin my enjoyment of the game. The platforming is fantastic, the combat is solid hack and slash fun, and even the minigames can be enjoyable in moderation. If iNinja were more focused and spread every gameplay element more evenly, it would be an absolute masterpiece. Still, a fantastic title with great potential. iNinja is a wild ride and a unique platformer with lots of charm and personality. Sure, it can be repetitive and there are way too many minigames stealing the platforming spotlight, but when you're actually exploring each level and cutting down every enemy in brutal fashion, it's a hell of a lot of fun. It's a shame the game never got the recognition it deserved. Most review sites gave it a 7 out of 10, which I guess is fair, but it doesn't properly reflect the game's unique aesthetic, beautiful atmosphere, and frenetic gameplay, which manages to be both challenging and enjoyable at the same time. If you haven't played it, you definitely should. You're gonna love it. If you have played it, do it again. You don't have anything better to do, right? Yeah, that's relatable as fuck. Anyway, that's all I had to say about iNinja. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe for more stuff. You know how it goes. You can also support me on Patreon or become a channel member for early access to my videos and other perks. Have a great day, and until next time, take care and have fun.